Have you ever won the lottery? Or have you ever known anybody to win the lottery? Well, my mother and I won more than just the lottery 25 years ago. Let me explain. So we lived at that time in northern Indiana, and about 20 miles from where we lived was a town called Shipshewana. Shipshewana is an Amish community, and they have an auction every Wednesday. My mom called me one cold, blustery January day, and she said, "Nina, would you like to go to the auction today?" Now that was out of the blue. Like, really? Yeah, okay, no problem. I'm not doing anything. So we went. She picked me up. It was snowing. It was miserable, but we got there. And if you've ever been to a large auction like that, we walk in and we separated and went. There was about 9 auctioneers going at the same time. We get back together and I said, "Well, Mom, did you find anything?" She said, "Yeah, I found this book, this genealogy book." My mom was into genealogy. And she said, "It's what's so unusual about it, it was written in the 1800s, but it was indexed by first and last name. And the book was 1,200 pages. Now, let me make sure you understand that. In the 1800s, to have that many pages and indexed in the first and last name, there was no computers. They had to literally set every single little one of those letters by type." So I said, "Okay." And I said, "So do you want to stand by it?" And she said, "Well, I looked at the index and I looked for some stuff and wrote some things down, but no, I don't need to." I said, "Well, let me ask you this, Mom. How much would you be willing to pay for it?" She thought a minute and she said, "Well, I think $10. And I'm thinking, $10 for a book from the 1800s? Well, okay. She said, "No, I'm good." So we left and we went downtown Shipshewana. Went to a few stores and then I said, "Mom, we're going back. We're going to go back and we're going to see if that book is sold." So we went back and sure enough, it had not been sold. Now again, if you've been to a big auction like that, the people come in and they have tables. And so they have their little square table. So we went over to that area and I said to the guy, I said, "So how much do you think a book like that would cost?" And he said, "Well, the right person here, probably about $300. It's okay." So we waited and that book came up to auction, and you guess what? You know what? My mom got that book for $10. Now let me show you the book. So she dropped me off home and she went home, but here's the book. It's a family by the name of Sharpless. Some people call it Sharples, but Sharpless, whatever. And it's a book of genealogy from a family by the name of John and Jane Sharples. See how they've changed the different spelling of the name. They came to Chester, Pennsylvania in 1682. And this book is actually was published in 1862. It was in celebration of their 200th anniversary in this country. And so this talks about the reunion and what was going on and all of that. But what was really interesting is they actually paid a genealogist to go back to England, to that area, and research back to the 1500s. So that's really, really interesting. So now let me go back here because I want to show you. This is what made this book so interesting. If I go clear, now look. This is the index with the first and last name, and then they've got the page numbers on that. Every single little bit of that was hand set by type. So anyway, my mom gets home and shows it to my dad, and he said, "Well, did you look up my name?" And she said, "Well, no." And so she began to look, and right here, East was his grandmother's maiden name. And here it is, Ida Mae East, page 1229. Right here. That was my dad's grandmother. This is my genealogy back to the 1500s. And we didn't even know what we bought, which is why I said we actually won more than just the lottery. But here's the interesting part. So remember, this was a 161-year-old book that we bought at an auction we had not been to probably in 20 years by that time. We bought something we didn't even know what we were buying, and there was only 250 of those ever printed, and we happened to be the one that bought it. So for the fun of it, I sent the article to two places. One was, this is the Elkhart Truth. This was our newspaper at the time, and they put us on the front cover. There's myself and my mom 25 years ago, and wrote a story about it. But I even now call it the Goosebumps story, because the second thing I did is I sent the story to Genealogical Helper, and they paid me $50 just for that story. So this $10 book, we made $40 on it, and it has been an amazing, because if you look here, let me pull this up a little bit. This is what my mom put in there, this is the genealogy going all the way back. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos about this because the story doesn't stop there. My husband and I are going to be going to England on a cruise, on a princess cruise next year. Next May 1st, we'll be leaving. And one of the stops is going to be very close to where the Sharples came from. So we're not going to go on a traditional excursion. We're going to go and see if I can find any lost cousins. And I'm going to take you guys with us. There's more to this story, so stay tuned.